Are you confused what to learn first as there is so much to learn in automation testing? Are you a manual tester who want to grow as an automation engineer? Or you are already an automation engineer but still want to learn some new technology? Yes, you are at a right place. Subscribe now to watch some amazing videos related to automation and current trends in automation testing. Hey guys, this is Naresh Shivakramani. And in this video today we will learn about one of the most important topic in Selenium automation, that is to create a framework in Selenium from the scratch. Yes, you have heard it correct. We will learn how to create a framework from scratch in Selenium using a page object model. All right. So in this video, basically, I will show you all the flowcharts and diagram through which we can create a framework because we have to get everything on the paper first. And once we are done with that, I will tell you how to do in Eclipse also in the later videos. All right. So now, before we go ahead, we need to understand what exactly the page object model is. Okay. So what happens? Sometimes people think that page object model itself is a framework, but that is not true, because what happened that framework is something which has many things which is provided uh, by a third party or maybe by Selenium itself. Example, we have a framework of a TestNG. We have a JUnit framework also, right? But what page object is, it is kind of a pattern. So there are different patterns which are using in the development world, and on the basis of that pattern, we do our development. Okay, so page object is one kind of a pattern which we follow, and which is can say a most important pattern and most famous pattern which we use nowadays for automation. So this framework is not only used just in Selenium, but this can be used in the other things also, like when we're doing a mobile testing using APM, or when we are using and doing an API testing using REST Assure or any other way. Okay, so we will use a page object model pattern to create our framework in Java for the Selenium. Okay, so let me just draw one application here. Let's assume this is the application which we have. Let me just draw it. Okay, so this is one of the application, and this application has many pages. Assume that there is a website. Okay, assume that there is a website like a Google or a Facebook. So there is one page of a Facebook in which we have to log in. Correct? We have to put an ID and password on Facebook. And after that, if we see in Facebook, there are some other pages also. So once you log in, it gives you a home page of the Facebook, right? And after home page, there would be a page for settings and maybe a page for contact us and other things, right? So in an application, it is divided into different pages. So these are all the pages of an application. Okay, so what we do in the page object pattern, on the basis of this application pages, we create a different classes. Okay, so let me give it a name here. So I will call it as, make me, it's too big. Let me make it small. So I will make different name of these pages. So first page would be my login page, second page would be my home page, and third will be the contact us, and then there are other pages also. So let me rename that as a login page. Okay, so 16 and hit this login page. Okay, let me just move this. All right, so this is my login page. If okay, now we have another page here, which is the home page. So I will give home page here. All right. And as I said that we would have one more page that would be a contact us page. Okay. Okay. Let me just do not give a space between that, but this is already too big. Okay, no problem. So it's a contact us page, and there can be other page like a settings page or something like that, right? So I will just write here settings page. Okay, so this is the settings page. All right, so in page object pattern, first we create first we create a classes for each pages, and I create a login page class, a home page class, and contact page class, and settings page class. Okay, and then we have to put everything into one package. So let me call this package as my page class package. Okay, so page class package. Okay, so this is my page class package, and the same way we have created our these page class, we also have to create our test pages. Okay, so for login page I would have a login page test. For home page I would have a home page test. For contact us I would have a contact page tab. Okay, so let me just create two of them right now. One, it will be for the login page test, and second, it will be for the home page test. Okay, so there will be many on the basis of the pages which I have, but right now I'm just creating two. And guys, like if you have not seen my video, you can please subscribe to the link below. I am giving a link in the description section of this video. Please subscribe on the link. There are around 70 of the video I have posted only for Selenium. Okay, in that you will learn the concepts about Selenium and Sonar Cube, Sonar Lint, and different concepts of test ng and other things. So very nice video are given there. You can just go ahead, subscribe the channel, and you can see all my videos there. But for now, I will tell you about the page object pattern in this video, and for other videos you can also subscribe my channel, which would be named with the Naresh Shivakramani. You can just type it or just click on the link which is given in the description section. Okay, so as I said before, in the login page you have to create a login page test. So I will give here login page test. Okay, so this is a common pattern which we used in every framework. So if in your company you have to create a framework from the scratch, you have to do like this. Okay, and for the home page you will give home page test. All right, and you can also create other pages. So I will just create it. All right, and this is also you have to give in different package. Okay, so I'm just dividing it as a package. Okay, so this will be one package and this will be another package. Okay, and because as this package name is page class package, I will call this as something like a page test package. Page test package. Okay, so in the page object pattern you can create different packages so that you can divide your classes for doing the page operation, and you can divide your classes for the test operation. So basically these are all the different classes which we have created under different packages. Okay, now one more thing, because these are the test classes where you have to write your test cases. So as you know, in Selenium, if I am creating any test case, I have to give a tag called @test, even if it's a JUnit or test ng. So all those test tag and all those tests I need to type here into this page test packages under that each page. Okay, so here I have to type my each test, but as you know, there can be some common things which I need to write it on every page. So go those common things will go into the base class. Yes, you had it correct. All those common things which can be done on the login page, home page, and other pages can then go to a base class. So what I will do, I will create a base class here. Okay, so I will create a base class here, and let me name this as base class. All right, so all these tests which are here, all these classes, and now we will have our Java concept in which these classes will inherit the base class. So these classes are inheriting a base class. Okay, so I am just creating a draw here. Okay, so all these classes will inherit the base class. All right, so the same way we have created a base class for this test, the same way we can create a base class for this page class package for all these pages which we have created, all these classes which we have created. Okay, so it can be the same base class or you can create a different base class. So right now I will create a different base class, and here I will call it as, you can give any logical name. So maybe I can give it as page or base page class. Okay. Okay. So in the same way, we can put, you know, these are also calling this. Okay. So the same way we have created a base class for test, the same way we are create a class for base page class. So now you will, like maybe you have a question in your mind why we need a base class. As I said before, sometimes there's some common functionality which my each method has to do. So instead of repeating that line of code again and again and again, we keep that line into base classes. We keep that methods into the base classes, and just we have to extend these base classes into our individual test or into our individual page classes. So that's what we are doing here. For in every method which we write into test ng, there is at the rate test. We have to type our test, right? And in every test, we also give at the rate before method where we can initialize our web driver, and we also write at the rate after method where we have to quit our or close our browser. So all these common things which needed to be done on each test cases, I will give into the base class. And similar thing for the page class also. I will give all the common things into the page class, and then we have to extend these base class here so that this is a parent and this is the child. So the concept of Java's inheritance we're applying here. So home page will be the child and base page class will be the parent. And here login page test is the child and base class is the parent. So here we are applying the concept of parent and child. Now, another question is what is the difference between two classes which we have seen, that is page class package, login page, and the login page test. So let me tell you the difference. See, in this login page, what will happen? It will contain our locators. So if you know that for writing a Selenium code, we have to type the locator like driver.find element and then we give by.xpath. So the one which says by.xpath, all the locator which we have to give into our test cases we give here under this login page, and these are also called the object repository. So what we need to do under this, let me just write it. I am calling it as object repository, or in other words you can call it as OR. Okay, so these are the object repository which I need to create, and beside that what I need to create, I need to create some constructor if needed for the login page. Okay, I need to create constructor. Okay, and beside that what are the actions on my page? So it can be a different action. So let me open one page and then I can just show you. Let me open the Facebook or something else. Wait, see guys, this concept is very important, so just concentrate on this right now. If you're able to understand that, you will be able to create the framework by your own from the scratch. Okay, so see, this is a first page, which is the login page, right? In login page, there are different elements, right? One, two, first name, surname, and everything. So in the login page, these are all called the object repository. So all the locators we have to save into this login page. And beside that, we can do some actions here. Actions like I can type my ID and password. So this is one kind of action, right? I can type my ID and password and I can click on the button. So I have to log in. This is also one kind of a action. So I can create different methods for each action. So there would be certain actions like successful login. Okay, successful login. Okay, there can be some action like login error. So if I'm typing a wrong ID and password, here it will definitely give me some kind of a error, right, when I click on login. So there can be different actions which I need to do that. That's it. These are only the things which come under the page class package or under the login page classes, and the similar thing can be done with the different pages. Okay, but what should we write into this login page test? So what happened when you're writing a test, after in that point of time you don't have to worry about the locators, you don't have to worry about the actions, you just have to call the action. So first you have to create an object of login page, and then you have to create the action. So let me just type what we can do. So here, okay, so I'm talking about this login page right now. Okay, so what we can do here, what are the things which we can do here into this? Okay, So let's say I have a method called login, all right, or maybe login successful. Okay, so this is my method. So in this, what I can do, I have to create an object of the login page. So it would be something like login page equal to new login page. Okay, so first I need to create the object of the login page. Once this object is created, I just need to do, I need to call the methods which I have created. So I will give here page dot. So I can give any name here, maybe a page or maybe a login page. So mostly we keep the same name so that there is no confusion. So I will type login page dot, and after that I can call the methods. For the first method which we have typed was successful login, so I will type successful underscore login. Okay, so that's it. This is one test method which I need to type here. Okay, so you know everything should be given at the rate test. So these kinds of test I need to type in. Now assume that I have to write some different case, so maybe I will type a different case here. Okay, so here I can give at the rate test, okay, and then I can give login unsuccessful. All right, and there I can give my code. Okay, so if you notice here now, it is very easy to write a test for me. I can just instantiate an object and I can just call the method here, and it will do what I want to do with the testing. Okay, because all the complexity now at the page level, it's not at the test level. So this is the way you can divide your test cases between a page level and the test level, and which makes, you know, your maintenance easy, which makes readability easy also, and which makes the reusability also of your test cases. Okay, and in these test cases you can always give the assertion. Always remember, whatever assertions you are giving, assertions means when you are checking that your expected and actual things are working fine or not, you have to give into your test class. You don't have to give into your login page. So that is a best practice which I am telling you. It is not compulsory, you can always give assertions here also, but it is always best that you can give your assertion in the test class. Okay, so this is a simplest way. And now beside this, what we do in our page object model, so there are different components we create in the page object model. So let's assume now in our page object model we will create this component, and that component can be, you know, for my setting my property file or setting my environment variables. Okay, so let me call this as config.property. Okay, config.property. Okay, so I can create a component something like this, config.property, and what this config.property contains, it contains all the data which I need for executing my test cases. For example, I can get a URL from here. Okay, I can get a browser from here. So I have to type here, you know, on which browser I need to perform my test cases. So I can write browser equal to Chrome. So these are nothing but a text file in a property format. Okay, these are just a property file. So I can give something like that. This is the key and this is the value. And these property can be fetched into my test class also. These property can be fetched into my login page also. So I will create some, you know, logic for fetching that into my page class or into my base class. And then I can put that logic here, and on the basis of that logic, because these base class has been extended by these two packages, I would be able to fetch this key and value. Okay, so basically here I will give all my properties. For example, here I can give the browser, here I can give the URL of my application and other things. So this is one component I can create. And now what we can do, yeah, like this. So here I can create a class which can read the data from my Excel sheets. Okay, so you know, when I'm working on any project, there can be a need that I need to read some data from the Excel sheet. You can say that, you know, there are some user ID and password. Okay, I will call it as Excel class. All right. And this Excel class will fetch the data from some Excel. So I will just draw here something like an Excel. Okay. So here it is written Excel. All right. So this Excel class is reading the Excel file. Okay. So whenever I want that, some data, I want a user ID and password, what we will do from this test class, wherever the user ID and password needed, I will call this Excel class file. Okay, and this will read the data from the Excel. So this is one kind of a utility which I can create. And beside the Excel, there can be some other utilities also which I need to do. For example, I want to create a utility for taking a screenshot. Okay, taking screenshot. Okay, and maybe I can create a utility to give me a random number. Okay, because I may need to use it into my test. So these are the different utility I can create. So this is just an example. You can create the utility by your own. Maybe, if you're sending an email after your code is run, you can create a utility to send the email. So these are all the utility which you can create in your page object pattern. Now let me just think about what other things. Yes, the most important part, the reporting. So if you want to use the test engine report, that is good. But if you want to use the custom report, you can have another component which is the custom reporting. So let me just give a custom reporting here. Custom report. All right, so we are creating a custom report here. Okay, so this is a basic structure, but this is not all. There are many other things which you can do in your framework. So let me just, clean this a bit and I will just put it here. One second. Okay, let me just clean that up. Okay, so what are the other things which we can do in here? So all right. So beside this basic structure, what we have to make sure, for example, if in interview also somebody asks you what are the things you need in your page object pattern when you're creating a Selenium framework. So you can tell them that, I will be using Java in that, and I will be using Selenium web driver. All right. And beside that, I may use a test ng or whatever. If you want to use a JBehave for BDD, that is also fine. So that is okay, same thing. So if you can see here, in this page object pattern, we are using these frameworks and these drivers, and according to that, we are creating our own hybrid framework. Okay, and for building, you can say I am using Maven or I need to use Maven in that. And for reading the Excel file, we are using Apache POI. Okay, Apache POI. And what else? For reporting, what you want to use. If you want to go for custom report, you can create the custom report through listeners, or there is also called an extent report, which I will tell you how to create the extent reports. You can do that. And what else we can think of? Okay, and how are we do a logging? So maybe we can, try with the log4j. So see, all these topics which I am writing here, I have already explained you in my series for the Selenium. So if you want to learn about all these topics, you can always refer to my Selenium series, and there are around 65 to 70 videos which you can look into, and this will give you a detailed explanation of what these are. Okay, and then you can say I can go for Jenkins for CIT CD. Okay, if you are using Bamboo also, that is also fine. Jenkins or Bamboo. All right, just give me here. Okay, I'm just putting a dash here just to make sure this is a new line. All right, WebDriver. Wait. Maven, Apache POI, custom report, extend report, log4j, Jenkins, and Bamboo. Okay, so for CI/CD you can use all those things, Jenkins or Bamboo, and for committing maybe you can use GitHub. or Bitbucket. Okay, so these are all the things which will use for your in your framework. And what else? So if you want to do a parallel testing, you may use Grid, or you can use Cloud Browser Stack, or maybe a Sauce Lab. Okay, so these are all the things which you can put in your Selenium framework. So see, these are all the things which will be integrated when we are creating the framework. So you have to make sure all these things are going into different packages. For example, this page class will be different package, this test page class will be different package. They should have a base class, there should be a config.property file in which you will read all the properties which are needed to run the file. There should be an Excel class which can read the Excel file. There can be different utility. So all these classes will come under different packages. Package 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 packages you need to create. And beside that, also want to explain you one more thing. See, there are many ways through which we can, get and provide an input to our classes. We can put the input through a config.properties. We can even use testengine.xml to provide the inputs. So there are many ways. Even we can do it from the Excel class. But what is the best way? That if you want to provide input, something for running the project, you put in config.properties. Okay. If you are providing some data like ID and password, those can be done through the Excel classes. All right. And if you are giving a different data, for example, there's a shipping address in your application, and you are providing a different shipping addresses. You are providing 10 type of shipping addresses. So for that also, it is better that you use the Excel classes so that you can have different columns on, you can give in Excel classes, and program can read them easily. So if there are hundreds of kind of data like that, you can give in your Excel classes. And there's one more thing, a property file, we call it as expected results. Okay, so what happens sometime when you go onto website, let me just show you. Okay, when you go onto website, you also have to make sure whatever the text has been given here is coming up correctly or not. So we cannot go ahead and in our program we directly compare the text like create an account. No, we never do that. We give all this text under a property file. Now you will question why under the property file. I should be able to read it from the Excel class itself, and I can give a config.property file itself. No, so that will be a property file, but a different property file. There is a reason for that. Let's say right now our language is English, right? And in English language, we are reading everything from the this property file. But what happens when our language is changed? Sometime in some of the application, it gives an option to change the language to Spanish or something else. At that time, just by tweaking a small code, we would be able to read the property file which is in Spanish. So there what happened, we create two property file. Okay, let me just, okay, let's assume these two. Okay, so I will give here as expected, or I will call it as result en dot properties, and the next file which I have, I will call as result any language en or in or Spanish dot properties file. Okay, so what happened here, the key remain the same. See, understand that the key remain the same. For example, here it says create an account. Maybe we call it as a header for account header. Okay, key. So account header remain the same, account h. Okay, and here we give create an account, and the same thing we give at the below page, in which my key remain the same. Let me call it as account underscore header. Okay, and let's say in the this language we call it sd. Okay, so what happened that when you're working on your English language website, at that time you are pointing to this property file. But let's say in my config.properties I want to give something a language. I am giving a language here. Okay, lang equal to sp. Okay, so as soon as I will give something in my coding, that as soon as I read this property, and if the language is SP, instead of pointing to this property file, it should point to this property file. So whatever my code is reading, it can read from here. Instead of, using my English language property file, it can use my Spanish. So the problem of localization, internationalization is solved here. So we read different property file on the basis of the value. And guys, if you want to see where my channel is, you can just open youtube.com and then you can type C Naresh Shivakramani, and here you can get my channel. So if I go to a playlist, okay, there's a playlist. You can see this Selenium Essential playlist, which have around 66 videos. Then there is for the Apply tools, TestNG framework, Selenium Grid, Maven, SonarCube, API testing, Jenkins, and Git. So these are all the videos which I have provided you, which you can look into so that you can become expert in Selenium. Okay, and you can always go to my channel and you can always go ahead and subscribe to it so that you can get an important updates. All right, thank you for watching and have a great day.